Hello folks, this is Angus Skidmore. I'm here today doing this DVD. It's a life coaching DVD on a very, very serious subject. And that subject today is entities. That's right, entities. You can't say entities too loud, because they'll hear you. They'll hear you, and that's a bad thing. Now, entities are very, very interesting little subjects. Entities are usually monsters or things that end up in your house or attached to you, like a bad case of the clap. Only with this, you can't get penicillin to get rid of it. You have to get something else, and that something else is usually a shaman, or somebody who's trained in the dark arts to come into your house and exercise the entity. That's not like push-ups and sit-ups and things like that. It's sort of like, sort of doing ritualistic things to get rid of the big entity. Now, before you've decided that you have an entity, you might like to find out firstly whether you're schizophrenic or you just have some other issues. So my suggestion would be that the first thing you should do is go and see your doctor and get examined to make sure that you're not schizophrenic and you're not hearing and seeing things. And when you get your medication or you get sorted out and you find out that you're not schizophrenic, well then you might find that you still have an entity, and that's when you need to get the shamans in. Now, let's see, there's other things that you might like to relate to entities, and that is, by way of explanation, some of you may have seen something like Supernatural on the telly, and Sam and Dean, they sort of cruise around in their big black car and they throw holy water on people and their mouth flips back and they have all of this black sooty smoky stuff come out of them and it goes belching up into the air. Well, that's not an entity. If that's happening to you, you've probably got indigestion or some other stomach ailment that you may need to see your doctor again for. So now that we've got it clear what is and what isn't an entity, we need to work out how to get rid of them. And that's not always that easy. We had an entity in our house, and I knew it was an entity because I'm not schizophrenic. I don't have very bad indigestion, and one day while I was in the kitchen, I got hit up the back of the head by a sugar basin. So I know that was an entity that did that because my partner JJ, Jude, she doesn't do things like that. She wouldn't throw anything at me like that. And she wasn't there. So I thought, yeah, well, maybe we have an entity. So we got a local shaman to come and get rid of the entity for us. Now, we put this big thing on the ground, a big blanket on the ground, and lots of all these trinkets and things, and there was a big ceremony went on, and there was a big vortex in my lounge room sucking things into it, and it was getting rid of the entities that were in the house. A wonderful, wonderful thing. However, I don't know whether anybody listening has ever trodden on Lego blocks, but after the shaman left, we had lots of things on the floor, little crystals and things, and I tell you what, since I trod on a cat head out at Moree, I don't think I've ever trodden on anything as sharp as one of those crystals, and I'm not sure whether the entity was as bad as what the crystals were, but anyhow, that's by the way. If you need to get rid of these entities, this is what you have to do. You have to have the big ceremony, okay? And the shaman goes through and does lots of things and hits a drum and rings a bell and smokes the place out with a little sage and things like that. And we got rid of an entity, but I got bad hay fever for a long time after that. Sage doesn't really do too much for entities, but geez, it does a lot for hay fever. But anyhow, we got rid of the entities that were in our house. So what I'm saying to you is, you must be very careful with entities. Entities are not your friends. They're not your friend. They are horrible, horrible things. So you may just have to shop around, get yourself a good shaman, and ring a few bells, tread on a few crystals, and get rid of this nasty, nasty thing. some people invite entities into their house. Some people are idiots, you know that? They really are. The best way to get an entity if you want one, I've been telling you to get rid of them, but now if you really want to get one, what you do is you play with a Ouija board or bad cards or things like that aren't very nice, and you could end up with your very own entity. Some people are just lucky and they move into a house that's already got one, but they're not usually very good. They do nasty, nasty things. So, my suggestion, number 1, make sure you're not schizophrenic. Number 2, make sure you don't have indigestion. Number 3, when you've fixed all those things and you're dead sure that you still have voices in your head or voices in your house, you've probably got the entity. So my suggestion is contact the number at the end of this video and we can organise to get it all fixed for you. Well, I hope I've been of some assistance. This has been Angus Skidmore, wishing you all the best and hope to see you exercising your entities. Bye for now.